Hi, what's up guys? Andy here, and today we're reviewing over the Shield Hero episode 10, titled In the Midst of the Turmoil. Now, this episode was really good. It did so many little things that this episode added up to be a great episode. We're on the midst of the next wave, and honestly, there's so much stuff going on, and so many story plots are falling into place that it's insane to think. He's still getting screwed over by the king. He now has new party members. He's going back to his old buddy, the slave master, which, however you feel about that, I personally don't mind it. I think it's cool. We're getting consolation on the whole dragon corpse and the villagers that apparently the bow hero was, coup d'etat-ing against. We got a lot of little stuff that happened. Philo's got some new toys, and we get a whole new system of upgrading in this episode that we didn't know prior. Really cool episode overall, and I really do love this show. It's starting to be, I think I'm starting to like it more than that time I got reincarnated as a slime. But like I said, we'll have to wait until both series are over before I can judge. But without further delay, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you want to help me out. And let's jump right into this review.
Back from the dead.
We start things off with the intro and the title card here, In the Midst of Turmoil, and then we jump right back into the thing where they were talking to Melty, and he says, "Get away from me." And she just, she acts like she knows what's going on, which we'll find out in a minute, and she just says, "Bye, Philo," and then Philo gets really upset and leaves. And we have this little scene here, which is a flashback because the blue text, and she's talking to the queen, and she says, "Admonish the king for his unjust treatment of the Shield Hero." And then we have a little cool scene here where Raphtalia says, "Naofumi, is it because she's royalty?" And he just has a flashback, and he's like, "Let's go." And so, they're just, whatever. But, these kids come in, and, they're not kids, they're like young adults who are all, I guess, warriors, and they said, "Please let us accompany you." And Naofumi tells them, or he's like, "Why would you want to accompany me? Why?" And they're like, "Because you saved their families." They're from the village of Loot that Naofumi saved in the last wave. And he says, "If you can buy this trinket off me for 150 silvers, you can join my team." He also tells them, though, that, it's not a guarantee. But, they decide to come up with the money, and we come to find out that there are class upgrades, and you can choose what path you want to take, and he has to do it at the hourglass. So that's really cool. Then we get this scene to where he tells Raphtalia, "You need to choose your own path in this." And she goes, "Why?" And he goes, "Because I'll be going back home after this." And she's like, "What?" But we'll get back into that in a minute. Because we find out that first they're going to charge him 15 gold per person to upgrade, which is a ripoff in general. And then we find out that he's been forbidden by the king. He can't upgrade at all. So he goes to his old pal here, and apparently business has been booming for this guy after Philo and Raphtalia's kind of word got spread around the capital. And they ask him about upgrades, and he tells them, "No, I can't upgrade for you, but I can, tell you this information for free since you've helped me out so much. You can get it at any hourglass in the world." So they can go to another country, but they don't have time. So he sells them talons for Philo, that way she'll be more dangerous on the battlefield. And they test them out, and they're in a sewer, and they get it done, but then Naofumi gets soaked. And they're back in the hotel healing Raphtalia's wounds, and she goes, You'll go back to your own world after this, won't you?" And she asks if she can go with him, but then they cut it off to a little funny side scene. That way, Naofumi doesn't have to answer. And Philo jumps out of bed, and she's like, "You were gonna kiss him, weren't you?" And then they got into it, and Naofumi's like, "We got a long day tomorrow. Everyone bed now." So that was really cool, but that's when the episode really starts to pick up, but I thought it was gonna drop off at this point. Oh boy, was I wrong. They decide to stock up on medicine and everything, and as they're gathering, they go to this place where these villagers are like, can you please exchange this for some money or food? And he's like, I'd rather have money. And they're like, we don't have any. The whole the whole bow heroes resistance thing really cost these people their life. They were in a war, and the opposition decided to overthrow the king, but then started taxing them more after they took power. They had nowhere else to go, and most of their villagers died. But that's not the cool thing we learn out of this, because let's just get into it. So Ren and Itsuki, I think that's their names, are just sitting at the same tavern that, Naofumi normally goes to, and they're like, somebody must be pretending to be us because they keep taking our jobs. Which we all know that's not the case, because, Naofumi's the one fixing their mistakes, and then they cancel the job. So he asked them, do you all know how many people have died because of you? And, at first the bow hero was like, there's no way, I don't believe you. And so was the sword hero. But the sword hero came around, and because after he's seen the blighting on Raphtalia's arm, he's like, he has no reason to lie. What have we done? He feels bad, but the bow hero doesn't really believe him all too much. So I loved this scene because not only do we get to see the other heroes interact, but we also get to see that these two aren't cunts. They're not trying to be douchebags like fucking the spear hero. So that was pretty cool. We head back over to the shop, and they got the 150 gold, and he's like, here, we finally got the money. And Naofumi tells him, use it to buy armor. I can't have y'all dropping like flies during the wave. Let's have a meeting. Then we cut back over to the queen, and she's like, I feel bad for putting Melty through this, but it's part of her job as the next in line. So she's pretty much going to be trying to take over, I would assume. But we get this scene. The wave is starting at the end of this episode. And I'm so hyped for this, because now Naofumi has a full-on party. And we see this scene at the very end. This mysterious girl who I don't think we've seen before. If we have, I'm crazy. But that's the last scene we get. End of episode. I loved this episode so much. So many cool things happened. But, I gotta get ready for work, gang. So, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch y'all next time. Peace out.
Take a moment right here. Feeling like it's out gear. Driving towards the sun with a rose and a gun. Feel the wind in my hair. Going nowhere, I swear.